Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Success Show, the podcast where we unpack the trends and technologies shaping our future. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Paul. It's great to be with you all today.
Today, we are tackling the big one, the topic that's on everyone's mind, a question that is sparking both incredible excitement and a fair bit of anxiety across the globe. Will artificial intelligence replace us, or will it be the greatest job creation engine humanity has ever seen?
It really is the multi-trillion-dollar question, John. Every single day, it feels like there's a headline about a new AI model that can write complex code, diagnose diseases, or compose music that's indistinguishable from a human artist. The pace of change is absolutely staggering.
It is, and it makes it perfectly natural for people in every industry to look over their shoulder and wonder, where do I fit into this new world? Is my job safe?
Exactly. So today, we're going to cut through the noise. We'll examine the legitimate fears, the optimistic predictions, and try to find the reality in between. Let's start with the argument that's causing the most concern, the replacement theory.
All right, let's dive into the deep end. Paul, what's the core of this argument? Why do so many people believe this time is different?
Well, the fundamental fear isn't new, as we know. We saw it during the Industrial Revolution with weavers and artisans, and we saw it again in the 20th century with factory automation. The argument is that AI is fundamentally different in both its scale and its scope. Right, scale and scope. Exactly. This isn't just about automating repetitive physical labor. AI is automating cognitive labor. Tasks that, until very recently, were considered the exclusive and safe domain of the human intellect are now being performed, often more efficiently, by algorithms.
You're talking about white-collar jobs.
Precisely. Think about entry-level data analysis, writing marketing copy, customer service correspondence, paralegal work doing document review. The list goes on. We're already seeing companies implement AI chatbots that can handle 80 to 90% of initial customer queries. Those are thousands of jobs right there.
Yeah, that's a very concrete example. And it's not just the routine tasks. The creative fields, which everyone thought were safe, are feeling the heat too.
That's what's truly unnerving for many. AI image generators can produce breathtaking concept art in seconds. AI music tools can compose entire orchestral scores. This creates legitimate, pressing concerns for graphic designers, illustrators, writers, and musicians. The fear is that this isn't one or two industries being disrupted. It's nearly all of them, all at the same time.
That's a powerful and frankly scary thought. The simultaneous nature of the disruption. It's not like the historical examples where people could just move from the farm to the factory or from the factory floor to a call center. Not if the call center is also being automated.
You've hit on the core of the anxiety. For some economists, that's where the historical parallel completely breaks down. In the past, technology was sector-specific. It displaced workers from agriculture, and they eventually moved into manufacturing, then from manufacturing into services. But when the technology can impact almost every sector, the terrifying question becomes, where do people move to next? Is there a next?
Okay, so that's the full-blown dystopian scenario, a future with the potential for structural mass unemployment because the very cognitive tasks that have defined middle-class white-collar work for a century are now performed faster, cheaper, and more accurately by a machine.
That's the extreme end of the argument, yes. And while it might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, you have very serious technologists and policymakers who believe we need to start preparing for that possibility right now, with radical ideas like universal basic income.
Right, UBI, a topic we could dedicate an entire episode to. But okay, that's a very compelling case for the side of caution and concern. But it can't be the whole story. Let's pivot and look at the other side of the coin. The argument that AI, like every transformative technology before it, will ultimately be a net creator of jobs and prosperity.
Let's hear the optimistic case.
Well, this is the side that truly fascinates and excites me, because history has shown us time and again that technology is a double-edged sword. It absolutely destroys old jobs, and we shouldn't downplay that. But it also creates entirely new jobs, new industries, often in ways that are impossible to predict.
Okay, I'm with you in principle, but give me some concrete examples. What are these new AI-powered jobs that are emerging?
The most obvious one, and it's almost a cliche at this point, but it's true, is the prompt engineer, a job title that literally did not exist 3 years ago. It's now one of the hottest roles in tech.
Right. Essentially, a person who has mastered the art of talking to an AI to get the best possible results, a sort of AI whisperer.
Exactly. It's a brand new human skill. But it goes so much deeper. You have AI ethicists whose entire job is to work inside these big companies to ensure the systems they build are fair, transparent, and unbiased. You have AI trainers who are responsible for the critical task of curating and labeling the data that these models learn from. AI systems auditors, AI implementation consultants. A whole new professional class is being born.
That makes sense. A new complex technology requires a whole new ecosystem of people to build it, manage it, and crucially, to regulate it and keep it in check.
And Paul, that's just the direct jobs. Think about the indirect, second-order effects. The internet didn't just create jobs for web developers and network engineers. It spawned entirely new industries that employ millions. Social media managers, SEO specialists, digital marketers, content creators on YouTube and TikTok, e-commerce entrepreneurs. None of those existed 30 years ago. That's a very strong parallel. The internet as a platform. I think it's the perfect parallel. AI will be the new platform. It's going to empower a small business owner in a tiny town to have a world-class marketing department run by an AI assistant for a few dollars a month. It's going to give a solo indie filmmaker the tools to produce an animated feature film right from their bedroom. It is a massive, unprecedented booster of productivity and creativity. And when productivity goes up, the economic pie gets bigger and new opportunities inevitably emerge.
So, in this view, the AI doesn't necessarily replace the human graphic designer. Instead, it might give that one designer the ability to do the work that once required a 10-person agency. They can serve more clients, take on bigger projects, and ultimately create more economic value themselves.
Precisely. The key word is augmentation, not automation. It's a tool that elevates human capability. Think of it as an incredibly smart co-pilot. But you, the human, are still the pilot, setting the destination and making the critical decisions. That's the optimistic case.
Okay, so we've laid out the two opposing poles of the argument, mass unemployment and societal upheaval on one end, and a new golden age of creativity, productivity, and new work on the other. As is so often the case, the actual truth is likely to be found somewhere in the messy middle.
I agree completely. It's not a simple binary of replacement versus creation. The best word to describe what's coming is transformation. Some jobs, especially those highly repetitive and predictable, will disappear. We can't be naive or sugarcoat that fact.
And that transition is going to be genuinely painful for the people in those roles if we, as a society, don't handle it correctly. That's where the conversation needs to urgently shift from if this change will happen to how we are going to manage it.
Exactly. This places a massive, unprecedented emphasis on education, reskilling, and upskilling. The concept of lifelong learning is no longer a corporate buzzword on a motivational poster. It's going to be a fundamental economic necessity for survival and success in the 21st century.
So the truly successful professional of the future won't be the person who can do what an AI can do. It'll be the person who deeply understands how to leverage AI to do their job in a way that was previously impossible. The critical skill shifts from performing the task to defining the problem, asking insightful questions, and critically evaluating the AI's output.
You've just hit the absolute nail on the head, Paul. The uniquely human skills, what some people call soft skills, become more valuable than ever before. Critical thinking, genuine creativity, emotional intelligence, complex communication, strategic planning. These become the premium skills.
An AI can analyze a million-row spreadsheet in a fraction of a second, but it can't sit across the table from a client, read their body language, build trust, and negotiate a complex, multi-year deal based on intuition and human connection.
Not yet, anyway.
A fair point. But I think fundamentally, it's about a redefinition of roles. A radiologist might not spend hours scanning for anomalies anymore because an AI can do that with superhuman accuracy. Instead, her role shifts to confirming the AI's findings, communicating complex diagnoses with empathy to patients, and developing treatment plans. Her job isn't gone, it's elevated.
That's the Centaur model, right? The human plus AI team that outperforms either one alone. It's about AI handling the tedious what and the repetitive how, freeing up human professionals to focus on the why. Why are we doing this? What is the ultimate strategic goal? What is the most ethical path forward? Those are questions that for the foreseeable future require human judgment.
An excellent way to frame it. So it's less about a one-for-one replacement and much more about a profound redefinition of what a job even is. The title on your business card might stay the same, but the day-to-day tasks you perform will be completely transformed by the AI tools you have at your disposal.
All right, so as we start to wrap up this massive conversation, let's try to bring it all home and answer the big question we started with. Paul, after going through the fear and the hope, where do you personally land? Replacement or creation?
If I have to choose, I land firmly in the camp of transformation. I think it's the most honest and realistic answer. There will be undeniable, painful displacement, and we need to be proactive with robust social safety nets and accessible educational policies to support people through that transition. But I also have immense faith in human ingenuity. We will find new problems to solve, new forms of art to create, and new businesses to build on top of this powerful new platform. It will create jobs we cannot even imagine today, just as the internet did. The absolute key for individuals and for society is adaptation.
I couldn't agree more. Adaptation is the word. The future doesn't belong to the people who try to resist or ignore this change. It belongs to those who get curious and learn to harness it. So for everyone listening to us today, the main takeaway isn't to be afraid of AI, but to get curious about it. Start playing with the tools that are available. Ask yourself, how could this technology make my work, my creativity, or my life better and more efficient? That inquisitive, proactive mindset is the essence of modern success. Adaptation is a great word, Paul, but it can't just be on the individual. We've talked about what people can do, but what about the bigger picture? What is the role of government and corporate policy in navigating this massive shift? It seems irresponsible to just tell every worker, good luck, go learn to code, and leave them to it. Adaptation is a great word, Paul, but it can't just be on the individual. We've talked about what people can do, but what about the bigger picture? What is the role of government and corporate policy in navigating this massive shift? It seems irresponsible to just tell every worker, good luck, go learn to code, and leave them to it.
Well said, John. A perfect place to end.
All right, that's all the time we have for today on the Modern Success Show. A huge thank you for tuning in and thinking through this with us.
We'll see you all next week.